Good morning. Third Sunday of Advent, and we read the Gospel of Luke. What should we do then? The crowd asked. John answered, anyone who has 2 shirts should share with the one who has none, and anyone who has food should do the same. Even tax collectors came to be baptized. Teacher, they asked, what should we do? Don't collect any more than you are required to, he told them. Then some soldiers asked him, and what should we do? He replied, don't extort money and don't accuse people falsely. Be content with your pay. The people were waiting expectantly and were all wondering in their hearts if John might possibly be the Messiah. John answered them, I baptize you with water, but one who is more powerful than I will come, the straps of whose sandals I am not worthy to untie. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. His winnowing fork is in his hand to clear his threshing floor and to gather the wheat into his barn. But he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. And with many other words, John exhorted people and proclaimed the good news to them. The people who went where the Baptist preached did so because they felt the need to change. We all want to change. What we don't want, or when we feel uncomfortable, is when others want to change us. But if our motivation is intrinsic, if it comes from within us, then it's easier for us to take steps towards change. That's what was happening with those around John. They were willing to change, so they asked, what do I have to do to change? First step, in the answer that John gives to the publicans and soldiers, it's very clear what is the first thing they have to do. Not to demand more taxes than established, not to extort, that is, stop doing the evil that they were doing. This is the first step of any conversion or path of union with God, to stop doing evil, to abandon the vices that have enslaved us. And here, each one of us can dedicate some time to think about which vices dominate us today in our life. The first step, undoubtedly, is to give them up. Second step, begin to do good. John gives different answers to people, street Jews, publicans, and soldiers. Each one of them has a different reality, lives in a specific existential situation. And that is why John gives different advices to each one. We shouldn't all do the same thing to prepare for Christmas. Each one of us is in a particular situation: family, economic, health, affective, emotional, work, and so on. Therefore, we are also no one to judge what others do or don't do at this time of the year. What John might tell us today is start where you can. In fact, the Baptist suggests simple gestures within reach. Give a tunic if you have 2, give food if you have some to spare. Start with something, with what is feasible, with what is possible, what we can do. Many times we long for holiness and dream of great things, but we have to take the first step. To give an example, do I want to have a great prayer life? At the beginning, start praying a little, about 5 minutes. Then, maybe your heart will start asking for more, and you will find more space in your agenda, and maybe you will be 15 minutes, then maybe 30 minutes, and then maybe more. The important thing is to start with something. We have to start with what we can do. The second step then is to start doing the good that is possible to do. And here we have to be honest with ourselves. We cannot make a pact with evil while doing good. That is to say, it's useless, spiritually speaking, to do good things while, on the other hand, I have already made a pact with evil and I continue to be a slave of vices without the real intention of leaving them. And the third step, John says, I baptize you with water, but he will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. The third step is reaching a new understanding of reality, to see the world, my life, my family in a different way, understanding what is really important and what's not so important. Christianity, in fact, is not a moralistic religion, as if the only thing that matters is external behavior, doing or not doing, the two previous steps that we have mentioned. Christianity implies a different way of being. In fact, in baptism, we receive divine life in our souls, and therefore a different way of seeing reality. A different way of being. I baptize you with water, but He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. He will immerse you in divine love. Thanks to the Incarnation, God gives us a new being. He shares with us His divine life. He gives us a share in His divinity. He gives us a new birth from above. And from this divine love, we see the world from a new perspective. John the Baptist continues referring to Jesus. His winnowing fork is in his hand to clear his threshing floor. The winnowing fork was a field tool used to throw the grain up into the air so that the wind would carry away the lighter chaff and let the heavier, more valuable wheat fall back to the earth. It was a way of separating what was worthless, the chaff, from what was truly valuable, the grain, to discern and to separate. Although Christmas is a beautiful time, it's not without stress. It's likely the most emotional charged time of the year. It arouses varied and sometimes contradictory emotions, joy and sadness, fun and nostalgia, peace and stress. A study made by the American Psychological Association put into numbers something we all know because we live it. 89% of those surveyed said that the Christmas holidays cause them stress, worry, and anxiety. There are nuances. Half of them say that the stress is moderate, but 2 out of 5 assure that it's greater stress than the one they endure during the year. The main reasons are the family reunions, travel, expenses, financial closings, and the emotional challenge of starting a new year. In fact, walking through city centers and observing the tides of people coming and going with bags in their hands is a sample of the contradictory Christmas atmosphere. Above, as a backdrop stage or ceiling, a spectacular set of lights intended to convey peace and joy. Below, crowds walking around with signs of stress. Using John the Baptist's metaphor, the winnowing fork helps us to separate what turns out to be the chaff in our lives, that which is not important, from that which is truly valuable. A good spiritual advice to avoid stress and anxiety at this time of the year. In conclusion, John's 3 steps to prepare us for the coming of Jesus. Stop doing evil, start doing the possible good, and open ourselves to the possibility of seeing life in a different way. And God bless you.